Hello, my name's Thomas from the band Coldplay, and I'm here to, no, not Coldplay, Piss Factory. My name's Thomas from the band Piss Factory, and I'm here to answer questions for Six Quix. Alright, first question is, what is an album that you never tire of hearing? Well, I thought I'd be practical about this. I opened my iTunes account, RIP, and I went to the list of most played songs. And the release I've played the most by far, I also have it on cassette form here, is by this band called Crop Top. This came out in 2016, and it's one of those. I mean, 2016 was when Piss Factory started playing as a three-piece, and it sort of they're a band that we played with a couple of times, but I also just saw live a lot of times and always liked them. And this tape is a really good snapshot of what they sounded like at the time. They don't really play anymore, but yeah, it's nice to have that on tap, even though it's 3 years ago, and so it's not that long ago in the grand scheme of things. But I think it was a more hopeful time that's gone now, isn't it? But yeah, it's just one of those releases that as soon as I've stopped listening to it, I want to hear it again. And when I finish doing this interview, I'm going to go listen to it. Simple as that. Question 2 is, do you have a dream collaboration? I don't feel like we're a band that really collaborates often with other people, although I do like doing it. For instance, the EP that we're about to launch was recorded and mixed by Evelyn Ida Morris, who used to make music under the name Pikelet, but now makes music under their own name. And we're good friends with a band called Hearts and Rockets, and have previously formed a kind of supergroup called Piss Rockets, where we play each other's songs. But in terms of a dream collaboration, as a band, we're fans of the Slits and inspired by them. And I really like the fact that when they recorded their first album, having started out as a sort of loud, thrashy punk band, they decided to produce with Dennis Bovell, who was a dub reggae producer, and it meant their sound was captured in a different way. And myself and our leader, Scout, we've often talked about how much we like dub reggae and how we would really like to hear dub reggae versions of our songs. And recently I've been listening to the new album by Lee Scratch Perry, and it's great. When he's on top form, he's still the best there is. So my answer would be Lee Scratch Perry. Maybe he could remix us or something. That'd be nice. I mean, I'd just like to meet him. Really, seems like it would be a laugh. Next question is, what was your first band T-shirt? I remember this well because first time I bought a band T-shirt was when I went to see a band called the Super Furry Animals. I would have been, I think, 14. Yeah, I was 14 when I went to see them, and I'd not really been to. It was in the Guildhall in Southampton, so I'm from the UK, and the Guildhall holds a couple thousand people. So I'd never been to a venue that size by myself, and my only reference for gig going, I suppose, particularly for that sort of size of audience, was watching my siblings go and see, bands, more pop bands. So Super Furry Animals were for want of a better name, like an indie rock band, and but my sister and my stepbrother and people around my age were going to see Boyzone, or like Spice Girls, Steps, Bewitched, those sort of bands. And when they'd go, they'd like make banners, or they would, they'd get old T-shirts and write the name of the band on them. So that's just what I thought you did at gigs. So when I went to see this band, Super Furry Animals, I thought I would do the same thing. And I got an old school T-shirt. We used to have to wear like white long-sleeved collared shirts. And I got one that was slightly too small for me, so I wouldn't wear it at school. And I drew like pictures of the band's album artwork on it, and I would like I wrote the band's name over it loads of times. I wrote like lyrics on it and things like that. I spent ages trying to make it look good, and then putting in all these references that only people who are actually fans of the band would get. And I wore that to the show. And as soon as I turned up and I saw people looking at me and they were just wearing, sort of green T-shirts and jeans, I thought, all right, I've made a mistake. And then, of course, that's not the sort of thing that was done then. It was just all students like standing around, sort of chatting at each other and pointing at me and sometimes laughing. So I instantly felt incredibly self-conscious. So the first thing I did was go to the merch stall and buy one of the band's T-shirts, and put it over my actual T-shirt that I was wearing. So they had it's a white T-shirt and it says Furry Vision on it, but it's in reverse and it's got like a kind of 90s style design. And I wore that over. I went to the toilet straight away. I put the official merch T-shirt over the shirt I was wearing, and the pens I'd used to write the band's name and all that sort of stuff weren't like fabric pens or things you were meant to use. They were just regular Sharpies. So as soon as I went out and started like jumping around to the band and stuff, which I used to do, I got really sweaty, and so all the ink ran, and it sort of ran through the front of the actual official T-shirt and stained it a kind of brown and black. Like one of the band's logos had a bear on it, and so there was some brown pen here and there was some green pen where I'd written stuff here, and it just all kind of leaked through the front of the shirt and completely ruined it. But I kept it, and I've still got it somewhere. And I did used to wear it quite often. I've got a lot bigger since then, so I don't really actually wear it much, but it's still there to remind me of how I'm not cool, and also how I can just be a bit of an idiot, and how I used to be a lot more creative in my fanaticism. Question 4. What would your worst stage nightmare be? I've never really thought about this. I guess I'm somebody who doesn't really mind if things kind of go wrong. I mean, I do a bit. It depends what it is, but I'm somebody who, before I was in Piss Factory, I was only ever in like experimental bands and improvised bands where the actual point was that if you didn't know what was going to happen, and there wasn't really ever such a thing as a mistake. It would just be a thing you'd have to work with, or start working around, or even find inspiration from. So, I'm never somebody who really worries about things technically going wrong. I mean, obviously I want to put on a good show, and I want people to feel like they've seen a good show, so I'm always going to try and do a good one. I think, I'd get the regular sort of worry that people have, that they would just go to start playing something and forget everything. I do worry about that, but, I think it's more, I think I'm more worried that, because I have family history of dementia, then I'd worry that was a sign of that, rather than it meant that I had to work a bit harder to play whatever I was playing. So I guess my answer to the question is, my worst stage nightmare is contracting Alzheimer's. I was like, so today I was watching a documentary which was Bon Jovi Access All Areas on VHS, and there's an interview with him at the beginning, and it's interspersed with all these fans at a show in Ireland, and they're all saying, "Oh, it's the best thing I've ever seen. Oh, I love him so much. Oh, I brought some friends along and they were skeptical, but they were blown away by how good the show was and all that sort of thing." And it's interspersed with him in the dressing room going, "That's the worst show I've ever played," and it was awful, and people should have done their job better to make the show better. And he was just being like, just complaining the whole time. And at one point he said, "Oh, everything bad that could have gone happened. No, sorry, everything bad that could have happened did happen." I think, did it really? Everything bad that could have happened happened? Like, did a nuclear war break out in front of the audience or in the middle of the audience? Did your cowboy hat gain sentience and like start squeezing your brain and it came out of your nose? No, it didn't. All that happened is like, he wouldn't have heard the bass in the foldback for a few seconds, and it meant that he was slightly off cue. And sure, if you're a perfectionist, that's going to bother you, but like, just go with it. Like he said, if I had a machine gun, I would have started shooting people because of just grow up. So next time I play a bum note, I'm going to think of Bon Jovi and think, actually everything's all right. Question 5 is, what is on your gear wish list? I'm not somebody who uses much gear, to be honest. I'm not somebody who knows much about gear. Like, it's not really of interest to me. Like, I just don't really care. As long as I can make a loud noise, then it's fine. And when I play in Piss Factory, the only pedal I use is a tuning pedal. I just plug in. Like, people aren't coming to see Pink Floyd, they're coming to see Piss Factory. And, we're punks, we just get on with it. But recently I've joined a different band and I've been lent a Rat pedal, and it's and I take everything back. It's changed my life, and I don't know what I would do without it. So yeah, I guess on my gear wish list is my own Rat pedal that I don't have to give back to someone at some point. And the last question is, what will you be doing for Leaps and Bounds Music Festival? Well, thank you for asking. Our band Piss Factory are going to be launching an EP on the first night of the festival, which is Friday the 5th of July. It will be at the Burrow, which is an intimate venue, and we have support from V, who does sort of electro, gothic, incredible work, and I adore it. And Cystic Nightmare, who've been very supportive of us in the past and make sort of angry feminist punk music, so I like that. And Burger Chef, who I'm not going to tell you anything about. You're going to have to turn up and see. If I wasn't going to be playing that show, I would be at a venue called The Gem, where there's a night called Ladies Rocking the Gem. It's two bands that I really love, Moody Beaches and Party Pest. So if you don't want to come see us, or you can't get tickets, because it might sell out, then I reckon you should go to that. Then the night after, on Saturday the 6th of July, I'll be attending and possibly making a small appearance at the B-52's tribute night at the Old Bar. It's 40 years since the first B-52's album came out. I think that day, maybe, or at least that week. And so we've got a show. Well, Psychic Hysteria, our record label, have put together a show where people will be playing all the songs off that album, plus their own hits. I think it's going to be Shrimp Witch and Plaster of Paris, Hearts and Rockets, Destination Moon, Love Boner. Might have forgotten someone, but yeah, that's going to be a great night. Even if you don't really know that album, I think it will be good to attend. But there's loads of stuff at Leaps and Bounds I want to see. Golden Syrup are playing, Moaning Lisa are playing. It's a really good set of events this year, I think. If I was somebody who wanted to find out more, I would head to leapsandboundsmusicfestival.com and feast my eyes there. Thanks for having me. Please remember to like and subscribe, I guess.